Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on the Appropriation Bill 2018. This will be my first budget speech, and without sounding like a spoiled kid at Christmas, as I unwrapped the wrapping that was around the stack of papers that I found the other day, in my optimism it began to deflate. What? No Hell's Gate Dam? No Drive-It Motorsport Complex or drag strip for Townsville? Where is the money that is needed to get some dredging done in North Queensland? And then it hit me. These are things that Hinchinbrook wants, and perhaps not what the southeast corner wants. Now, the hard part for me was to come. I had to call 3 regional councils in Hinchinbrook that are waiting with bated breath for me to deliver to them the great news of what they were now not going to get. As Mayor Jenny Hill, that's the Mayor of Townsville, said in her response to the budget, there's no ice cream cake here, but at least there isn't any surprises. She's right, no surprises, but gee, wouldn't it be nice if there were? Wouldn't it be brilliant to have seen a sneaky little rail line to the Galilee Basin to expand our strengthening coal industry? The revenue from coal royalties, ladies and gentlemen, is propping up the budget. It would be nice to see this river of money flow to us for futures to come. My first phone call went to the Hinchinbrook Chamber of Commerce to give them the good news that they had received a remainder of $4,000 out of a $20,000 grant that they had received last year, and to discuss with them the remaining funds for the electorate. Their president was rapt, but then put the question on me. Do you think we've been punished for voting for the KAP? I replied with, well, it's about on par with what you got last year. So, you're no better off. Anyway, at the end, as I look into the 2018 budget, and in essence it is a Labor budget, but in all fairness, it does deliver on their election promises. And it makes good on 2 big-ticket items for Brisbane. The budget dedicates $733 million to progress the plans for Cross River Rail and a new performing arts venue coming in at $125 million, and record spends in health, education and frontline services and roads. I've been going through the budget, and there are some good little wins for Hinchinbrook. In 2018, we saw the opening of Queensland's newest public school, the North Shore State School. It's positioned in the south of my electorate in the northern beaches of Townsville, with the local Bedell community driven by a passionate P&C group, and the new primary school saw fruition. I thank the Minister for Education, Grace for the commitment she has made to education in Hinchinbrook. She has followed through to see that the further $6.9 million will be available to construct stage 2 of the North Shore State School project. This will have a dedicated science, tech and music block and 16 more classrooms. I had the opportunity to be a part of the school's stage 1 opening earlier this year, and I believe Patrick O'Donnell, the principal, and the residents of Bedell are still celebrating being the new custodians of a no-expenses-spared primary school that they all should be proud of. This will be a total $46.5 million project from once construction has been completed. Across the road, the Durigan Northern Beaches High School will see $1.2 million for the construction of a new building complex, which will house 6 classrooms and 2 specialty use areas, and a further $84,000 for an extension on the community centre within their school. This grant was sourced through the Smart School Subsidy Scheme. Principal Robin Sprout will be thrilled to see that this investment in facilities is being put into her growing school. Robin runs a tight ship at the Northern Beaches State High School. And in her time there, the reputation for the school has turned around into a place kids and parents can be proud to call their school. I am pleased to see the investment in education resources, and I know that I'll be much benefited by the students in our area. I will also see a $521,000 for maintenance across 21 schools in the Hinchinbrook electorate, and a further $251,000 spent on minor works. Although not a new project, we will see the government allocate $1.29 million to complete the construction of bridges at Cattle Creek and Francis Creek on the Bruce Highway coming in Ingham to help with flood-proofing the highway. Many locals are eagerly awaiting for the completion of this long-running project to see that the upgrade is sufficient enough to fix the flooding issues. The last thing we want to see this wet season from Transport and Raid Roads is Mr Bailey's and the Labor government's flood it, forget it policy. Hinchinbrook roads closed in Hinchinbrook due to flooding simply cuts off the lifeblood to North Queensland. On completion, this project, I would invite the Minister to come up and have a good look at the project for some quality assurance before signing off on the project. I will be keeping a close eye as it draws to an end to ensure the second-rate result doesn't come like the project that we see at Dametto on the Bruce Highway upgrade. We're already seeing failing services and bad designs plaguing the residents and farmers. Mr Sam Blanco and Mr Anthony Bigotto are still dealing with the fallouts of this upgrade. Mr Blanco has no longer access to his property, and Mr Bigotto has missed out in the turning lane where he could have been easily installed during the project if planned correctly. This turning lane is essential for protecting his family that use this road daily. We've been allocated $1.29 million to commence pavement widening of the Bruce Highway between Hetches Road and Yaruga Road with a total project cost of $9.2 million, with a further $871,884 to widen the Bruce Highway between Deep Creek and Blue Water. With the continual maintenance necessary on a failing asset, $2.4 million has been allocated to complete asphalt and resurfacing work at various locations along the Bruce Highway between Ingham and Innisfail. Mr Speaker, I turned 35 this year and remember back to when I was about 2. So for 33 years I've seen the Bruce Highway being upgraded, and I can extend the sentiment of the people of Hinchinbrook. It's still not a great road. I'm left questioning who's the real winner here, the road contractors or the taxpayers. I haven't seen any financial commitment that specifically commits funds to fixing the Brumby problem, which stretches along a 7-kilometre stretch along the Bruce Highway near Blue Water. Due to 2 deaths from feral Brumbies on the road have been a contributing factor, and the only solution to ensure public safety is dropping the 100-kilometre-an-hour speed limit to 80 kilometres along a 7-kilometre stretch of the National Highway. This is shameful, and we either need to remove the problem or fence the highway. This stretch is ridiculously slow and now is a source of anger for locals, and I must add a money pit for police that are using this section of road to catch speeding drivers. There is limited signage along this 80-kilometre-hour stretch, with persons being able to enter and exit this area without any signage of knowledge that they're in an 80-kilometre zone. On the agriculture front, the government will spend $2.3 million to help protect Queensland banana industry from Panama disease. This is an excellent start, but we need to do more, and we need more money solely dedicated to aerial shooting of feral pigs. Simply trapping them and shooting them on the ground isn't 100% effective, and it goes against what we're trying to achieve. Ground control of feral pigs can spread the T4 disease. Aerial shooting is the only answer to completely eradicate the problem. We can't afford to lose the banana industry in North Queensland to this biosecurity hazard. On the subject of biosecurity, we see money being allocated to Cassowary Coast Regional Council to see the control of Navilla sedge, but we'd like to see more money spent, especially in the Hinchinbrook Shire Council. This is a noxious weed that threatens our grazing and agricultural land, and once it has taken hold of the areas, it is nearly impossible to eradicate. Money is needed to research and development to ensure that we have an effective pesticide to combat this threat.
Order, members.
Money is also needed to install washdown bays for equipment and education to stop the spread of Navilla sedge. We will also see $2.6 million go towards rural communities and businesses to develop economic opportunities to grow food exports. This announcement has come at a surprise and has seen the ears of Mayor Raymond Joe prick up, as he is extremely keen to know how Hinchinbrook Shire Council can dip into this fund. He has been working tirelessly on coming up with a second crop solution for our region. For our region to survive the next 20 years, we need crop diversity. Any funding to help aid in this research for assisted crop in the Hinchinbrook area to cane will be heaven sent. Hinchinbrook Shire Council will also be happy to receive $2 million that will go towards a $4.4 million project to increase capacity of the Ingham Water Treatment Depot. Fundamentally, I believe this budget lacks real vision for North Queensland, with no money spent on major infrastructure projects in the region other than the Townsville Stadium, which I give credit to, which most of us though is old news. Projects such as Hell's Gate, which has just had a $2.4 million feasibility study completed in its favour, or rail loan into the Galilee Basin, where even though they are not crowd-winning projects that win swaying votes, these kinds of investment would be nation-building for our generations to come. Well, through ownership of our infrastructure and profit generation is key. How good would it be to have an investment that we could all actually make a dollar from? Call me crazy, but my time in small business taught me to spend money on things that give you a return. Hey, if we just built this thing, we could sell it off in the future anyway. I know both sides of the House will support that. Oh. I'm also disappointed in the lack of significant spending in the Ingham, Cardwell and Lower Tully areas. Their libraries have received some good funding, and I applaud that, but the community really needs things like dredging to 1 Mile Creek to boost the economy. They are not alone though. There's no longer any maintenance dredging done for all tidal access to our boat ramps along the Hinchinbrook Electorate coastline, which stretches 205 kilometres. From the Bowley River to Tully Heads, we're stuck in the mud at low tide. We need all tidal access for our volunteer coastguards from Dungeness, Cardwell and the Tully Heads area. They need to be able to deploy at all times to ensure maritime safety for all. Finally, I would like to draw your attention to the major projects that need government help. NQBE, or North Queensland Bioenergy Sugar Mill, is a project that offers state-of-the-art design in biofuels and sugar milling. This could be the flagship project that will save the sugar industry. This project is proposed to be constructed smack bang in the middle of the Hinchinbrook Electorate. This year's budget papers list that a #1 priority for delivering to our regions in Townsville, $1.2 million. In fact, that seemingly has been allocated to assist in the construction of this project. This inclusion has come as a surprise to locals and myself, because last month NQBE CEO Robert Carey announced that the project would have to be mothballed due to factors only a government could help out with. I will take this $1.2 million commitment as a standing testimony from our Labor government to commit all it can to ensuring this project stands up. Biofuels are the future of the sugar industry, and I truly believe in the importance of this project, not for the economic value just for Queensland, but also a way forward to galvanise the sugar industry. This project puts the mill ownership back in the hands of farmers and the future back in the hands of our children. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Hinchinbrook.